With the pandemic providing funds and business uncertainty rising, you'd think caution would be the theme of the 2020 NBA free agency. Add to that a class summary on stars, and there's even more cause for teams with cash to spend sensibly. But this is the NBA, and we've seen how money stings holes in front officers' pockets. And we've seen how money stings holes in front officers' pockets year after year. Regardless of circumstances, and nearly without exception, teams spend up to and beyond the cap every offseason. We should expect nothing less, even now. When highlighting probable risky signings, know that the goal isn't to knock guys who might be in line to get overpaid. Let's move forward with our video and have a look at the signings carrying risk. So let's begin. But before we proceed further, if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, do hit that subscribe button so that you won't be missing out on any future NBA content. Number 6. Fred VanVleet, unrestricted. Fred VanVleet's upcoming offseason will illustrate the difference between being valuable and being a value. If his new salary nudges up past $20 million per year, though he'll cease to be a value. Sometimes third options expand their games in new locales, proving outside circumstances, not individual limitations, held them back at their previous stop. Maybe that'll be the case with VanVleet. In the darker timeline, VanVleet could struggle against a level of defensive attention he's never seen before. That figures to be true with the Knicks, but it also feels likely that if FVV changes teams, he'll certainly have a worse supporting cast than the one he blossomed with Toronto. VanVleet brings plenty of intangibles to the table, but his 55.3 true shooting percentage only ranked 61st out of the 86 players who attempted at least 700 shots during the regular season. If his efficiency declines under the added pressure of a larger salary, inferior teammates, and more consistent top of the opposing scouting reports focus, the team that adds him could have a signee making superstar money, but failing to match the high-end support piece production of his past. Number 5. Bogdan Bogdanovic, restricted. Several risk factors collide in Bogdan Bogdanovic's upcoming free agency, and the greatest downside actually applies to his own team, the Sacramento Kings. The previous regime signaled its intent to keep Bogdanovic in restricted free agency with all the subtlety of a skywriter on a clear day. In addition, Bogdanovic's 3-year NBA career includes almost no meaningfully competitive games, so all you know for sure about him is he can be a solid but unspectacular role player on a bad team. Bogdanovic is a smart, skilled guard whose career 37.4% three-point hit rate makes him a useful off-ball weapon. His assist percentage has ranked above the 86th percentile among wings every year of his career. So teams know they can also put him on the ball as a lead playmaker in a pinch. He's got plenty of game, but at 28, it would be unwise to expect him to show more than he already has to this point. Combine all those concerns and you've got a fringe starter who might get paid like a near star. Seems risky. Number 4. Montrezl Harrell, unrestricted. Undersized but not an elite switch defender, dependent largely on his athletic strength to his offense and toting numbers fattened by competing mostly against backups. Montrezl Harrell doesn't profile as a free agent worth 8 figures per season in salary. He's going to get that and more though. To be fair to Harrell, he's not going to double or triple his 2019-20 salary of $6 million for no reason. We had to lay out the concerns and shortcomings because we're focused on risk factors, but the 26-year-old is an effective role player. You don't win 6th Man of the Year on a fluke. Harrell can face up almost any defender, using power and speed to work his way to the bucket and the free throw line. He's hovered around the top 10% among bigs in foul drawing rate the last 4 years. Still, this is a thin free agent market, and it's easy to imagine some team viewing Harrell's 18.6 points and 7.1 rebounds per game as starting center material. Pan out though, and the decline in value of non-switch, non-stretch fives should give interested teams pause. Sure, you pay the Rudy Goberts of the world, but smart teams shouldn't devote big money to the fungible groups of bigs below that star level, especially undersized ones. Harrell is back with agent Rich Paul of Clutch Sports, a representative known for securing his clients' sizable bags. Teams that enter negotiations for his services this offseason do so at their own peril. Keep yourself tuned in as we discover more players on the list with you all. Hope you guys are enjoying the video, and if you've not yet subscribed to the channel, do it now in order to make sure that you don't miss out on any future NBA content from now on. Number 3. Christian Wood, unrestricted. Christian Wood exploded as a starter late in the Detroit Pistons' lost 2019-20 season. He averaged 21.9 points and 9.4 rebounds, with a 64.7 true shooting percentage in a dozen games with the first unit, numbers right in line with his career per 36 averages. At 6'10", Wood can stretch the floor with his 38.6% three-point shooting, 36.8% for his career, and attack closeouts off the dribble. His offensive skill level is undeniably high. Detroit will have a competition to keep Wood. The Charlotte Hornets have money to spend and could see him as their starting center. That will drive the price up, potentially earning Wood a deal worth $12 to $15 million annually on the low end. Few free agents in this class will be paid amid so much uncertainty and based on such a small sample of stellar play. Then again, few have Wood's sky-high offensive potential. Number 2. Hassan Whiteside, unrestricted. Hassan Whiteside has produced positive on-off differentials for his team in all but 1 year of his career, and his past includes league-leading averages in rebounds and blocks per game. Obviously, he has his uses. He just finished up the last season of a 4-year, $98 million contract and collecting $27.1 million from the Portland Trail Blazers. The league-wide devaluation of centers means he won't get anywhere near that number on his next deal. But with the anchoring effect in place, it'll be possible for some team to view acquiring him for half that annual value as a bargain. His range is limited to the paint, but he scores with extreme efficiency down there. He defends the rim and hoards boards, but can only be utilized in drop coverages against the pick and roll. As effective as Whiteside can be in a limited role, all of those descriptions belong to a backup in the modern NBA, which is exactly what Whiteside became for the Blazers when the more versatile Joseph Nurkic returned from injury. A matchup-specific rotation option like Whiteside should warrant some mid-level exception consideration, but there's a real danger of some team becoming enamored by his gaudy averages and paying him like a high-end starter. And number 1. Malik Beasley, restricted. The Minnesota Timberwolves didn't acquire Malik Beasley as a rental, and his play in 14 post-trade games with the club indicates he's worth the long-term investment that almost certainly coming in restricted free agency. Beasley had never matched the 42.6% he shot on a higher volume diet of threes with the Wolves, but he was at 40.2% in 2018-19. Even if the shooting is real, Minnesota still has to be worried about Beasley's lack of defensive impact. He plays D without force, and his block and steal rates, low throughout his career, were even less impressive with the Wolves. Since becoming a rotation player in 18-19, Beasley's teams have unsurprisingly defended better with him off the floor. If the defense never comes around, Beasley simply isn't a starting level player on a good team, which in theory is something Minnesota would like to be. That leaves open the possibility that Beasley could add value as a scoring spark off the bench a la Terrence Ross of the Orlando Magic, but Ross is a tad overpaid at 4 years and $54 million. Beasley seems likely to get significantly more than that. His youth allows for potential improvement, so Minnesota might be just fine investing $16 to $18 million per year in Beasley. If he reaches passable levels on D and continues to shoot it like he did down the stretch, a pay rate in that range might actually be a bargain. But we're talking about risk here, and Beasley, unproven in many respects, comes with plenty. Hope you guys have enjoyed the video, and thumbs up if you've liked it, and do hit that subscribe button so that you won't be missing out on any interesting videos from now on.